Alright, so what you'll be seeing in the first video clip here of me actually out on the property is I come in on a field road here and I park right here. Now this is a blank look at the property here, so I'll be walking in this direction and I will be setting up and walking and marking where I want all the travel corridors, where I want the hubs, where I want the intersecting trails, where I want the screening to be. And then in later videos I'll show you me actually executing the plan and what that looks like during and what that looks like after. Then I'll break it down on my onX map and show you where I put each of those habitat features. Alright, so we are down at the northeast corner of the property that I'll be working on, and right now we're going to be working in a section that was heavily select cut. It's actually really beautiful bedding area right now, and it was used as a sanctuary, but what it doesn't have is any patterns for the deer to move in, and any screening or any blocking and funneling to where we want the deer to go. So they're just randomly coming out and using this field by the road. The road is right there. So what we're going to do is make some access trails for the hunter to come in and out. He has an option to come in on this field line. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a trail right where the deer want to go anyway, which is right down this lane, but we're going to make it so that he can get in and out and hunt it, and so the deer cannot see him, and we're going to funnel the deer past him into a couple of micro food plots or kill plots. So we're going to make some steering travel corridor trails that lead right into these little hubs, and he's going to hunt on the hubs, and as the deer come to him and feed for just a little bit, the deer will work their way out to this destination food plot. Now it's not optimal that it's by the road, but just knowing the land down here, deer are out here all the time. So as they come out to this field, he can slip out the backside and not pressure the land as much as, so the deer pattern him. Alright, so we're entering the access trail, which was an old skidder trail for when they select cut this in. You can probably see that there are already deer tracks coming in and out of here, so this is where they want to go to, but we want to design a pattern for them, so if they want to come out, they have to come out by this trail right here. So as we walk in, you can actually see a little ways, so we are going to screen this off and block this edge off so that the deer have to come through and come right by him, where he's going to have some stands with great access coming in from this open field. Another good point with coming in or clearing out an access trail for the deer is if the hunter sees that there are deer out in that field and there are no deer in his kill plots or little micro food plots, he can then slip out through here. Right now, if he comes through here, he is going to make a ton of noise. So not only is it going to be a deer access trail, but he can possibly sneak out if he sees deer out in that main field. So as we get farther in here, you can see the deer are using this heavily. But the only problem is there are trails exiting to the fields, crisscrossing everywhere. There's no pattern for the deer to come through. And the woodlot, if you step foot in here, as thick as it is, they're going to see you. So what we're going to do is we're going to screen off his spots where we're going to put his micro food plots so that the deer cannot see him as he climbs up into his trees. Alright, so this is the tree that we've chosen for the stand. So as you can see, this is the way we just come in, but you can see that field fairly easily. So we're going to screen that off, and deer right now are just going any which way out to that main field. So we're going to block that off and funnel them down through here to come right by his tree stand. So there's a natural little opening right here that we're gonna just open up and screen it off, and this will be one of his first little hubs where we'll have all sorts of trails coming from this bedding area right into this location. Alright, it's the afternoon. Spent about 4 hours cutting and brushing some of the main travel corridors, and we're going to take a little walk through it. So this is the main one coming from the field. So once the spring hits, we'll come back in here with a brush cutter and brush cut these out, and we may seed it into clover or something that the deer will make them want to travel this path. So you can see, I don't want straight lines with these paths, so they are kind of wandering from side to side, so a deer can't look straight through there and see what's down there. So a buck is going to want to come and travel this corridor, and he's going to have to come around each corner to check. They also can use this to scent check, so the bedding area will be out that way. So we'll build them a travel corridor we can get downwind and scent check. Alright, now we're at our first opening. So we open this up, you can see there's a mark here, and at the end of that will be a trail that goes down to the hub. Here's the trail that goes along the fence line. So we get a little intersection with multiple trails coming right here, and that tree right there is where we're going to put our stand. We play this on a northwest wind, get in and out easy, and we're going to intersect a whole bunch of trails right to here. Alright, now we're at the back side of the little kill plot that we're going to create. It's just going to be a little opening that hopefully a deer will just come and nip at whatever we put in here on his way out to the destination food plot, which is out that way. So as we get in here, we're going to narrow down the trail, make it nice and tight and wandering so that deer feel comfortable using this. And they're going to use this during the daylight. So again, I have it wandering, and we'll come in and spray this trail with some sort of herbicide that prevents the brush from coming up, and we'll possibly brush it out and seed it down. So you see it'll head right down through here. Heavy bedding to each side. So we'll probably make a few more lanes and stuff that intersect with this trail, but this trail will be the main one that goes out. And along here we will hinge cut and block off any access going that way. So we're going to want them to come this way and exit right by the landowner's stand. Okay, now we are starting to enter the center hub, which is going to be a large kill plot, food plot, that the landowner won't actually hunt that much. We're going to leave this for the deer 90% of the time, which means they're going to get onto a pattern of being able to come down into here and feed and not be pressured. So I marked with some ribbon this little opening in here, and the landowner and I will decide how big we want to actually make this. So we're going to make this kind of in a peanut shape. So we have some stands down in there we'll run some trails by. Again, we're going to hinge cut along that border to make sure that the deer will use our travel corridors if they want to come through this area. They're going to be bedding in here so they can pick and choose which direction they want to go. Here's the little mini pinch point. where it's going to narrow down here. And there are a couple of oak trees that we could put right in the middle where it pinches down, that we have great access from the west. So again, we're traveling straight south, and we'll have another destination food plot out in that direction. Now we're going to come to where it's going to open up again, and we'll come in with a skid steer or something and clear this out and seed it down. So again, there's lots of brush in it right now, but it's an open spot, so it'll be very easy to brush this and open it up, and to put some sort of equipment in here to scratch the ground so that we can plant something in here. So now we're getting to the south part of our hub, and now we've wide off again, so deer can come this direction, which will be another food plot over there, or they can head that direction where we have some main big ridge complexes that will turn into bedding trails, and we'll get a lot of deer to bed up in there. So we'll head straight west now. And there is a little opening in here that hopefully a deer might come and stage up before he either wants to go back to our kill plot or out that direction to the destination food plot. And right here we have a white oak with 4 trunks that would make for a perfect stand location with great access. And the deer will either want to come back through here or come from this direction. So we have multiple accesses in here, and eventually we will hinge cut to create some screening for that stand for access. Alright, we're back into our peanut shaped kill plot in the woods. Again, this will be opened up in the springtime with a skid steer or something so that we can get bare dirt and seed something down. So this is the travel corridor that comes from the south. And I did not brush this one because there already is an existing trail. We're just going to make it a little bit better so that they're going to want to use this. This is going to be their main trail to get in and out of here, and we'll intersect all sorts of trails in here. But as we get up farther to the south, we are going to funnel everything into 2 main trails which will go by our stands. Alright, this is facing north. This is where we will funnel everything down to this small pinch point. This is already an existing trail where they're going to want to run. Oh, there's our destination food plot. Here's where we are going to intersect it with the trails that come off from the ridge. We will hinge cut a lot of these for screening and for funneling purposes, and we'll get everything, all deer that want to come through this area, to come through this point. Deer love inside corners of fields. This is a natural place that they're going to want to run. And back up by that ribbon up there is where the owner is going to put a stand. Now we're heading west. And here's the opposite trail that will be coming out. So we're going to bring a trail system that comes down off from the ridge right down through here. Again, there's the tree stand, and we will intersect it with these two trails. That will then turn into multiple trails, bedding locations all throughout this thick cover. Here also is a possible white oak for a tree stand location with great access. You play this on northwest wind, which blows it out to this big open field that typically isn't planted. Alright, you may be able to see the ribbon, but that's the end of our peanut-shaped kill plot in the center of this big bedding area. And this is one of the travel corridors that come out and hook up with our main hub where the landowner is going to hunt. Now this is where it's going to Y off. Again, we will come back in here with a brush mower, brush this out in the springtime, possibly seed it down, but at least spray it so deer can travel this without being restricted. And the trail is going to go down through there, and there's our tree stand location.